Alright, let's fucking get it. We got McKellar, and this one is called Chicory from McKellar San Diego. You could see there on the side. This is one of those more hype breweries, and this one has, it's a porter at 6.6%, brewed with chicory root and coffee. So you can see that down there. Porter brewed with chicory root and coffee, 6.6%. Alright, so they always have like these kind of cartoonish characters, or at least a lot of the time they do, in that style. Let's crack this. Got myself a little mug here, a Krog, and we'll pour it out and we'll see what we get. Going with the whole coffee theme for this shave, I'm going to be using Barrister Mann's Brew, which was actually made with beer. So what they did was they basically replaced the water content in the shaving soap formula with beer instead, or at least a portion of the water content. Cheers. Okay, this porter has some good body to it. Not too thin, not too thick, just kind of right in the middle. And I would say it's more on the roasty side, the black coffee side. Bit of bitterness to it. Let me get another drink here. It does have a little bit of sweetness, but it definitely gives you that black coffee vibe. Doesn't bother me at all. I like black coffee, so here we go. Barrister Mann's Brew, part of the Soft Heart series, which is in the PP8 base. Same ingredients as Excelsior, different percentages of the ingredients, but PP8 is really good shit. I actually like it a lot. But this one is actually PP8 with, like, you know, some parentheses with beer. So, definitely going to be interesting. I find that most soaps that contain beer, to some extent, are pretty good. So, I'm not worried about that whatsoever. So, the scent on this one, basically, they used coffee and cherry, which alone is a fantastic combination. It just works. You get some of that, you know, warm, earthy vibes from the coffee, and then some sweet, you know, natural sweetness from the cherry. And then the beer they used was from Ommegaung's Three Philosophers. Now, if I've had Ommegaung before. I've had Three Philosophers before. I've had one of their chocolate decadence beers before. I've had a few different Ommegaungs. Really good stuff. I believe they're out of New York. Correct me if I'm wrong. Really good stuff. But they used Three Philosophers, which is a mix of a Belgian quad blended with a Belgian creek, and it is just a phenomenal beer. This is looking fantastic. It actually has, to me, an above medium scent strength. I'm not sure if that's what my initial impression of it was, but now that it's lathered and whatnot, it is bold and banging. It's smelling good. No doubt about that. So, probably a 6.5 out of 10. Definitely banging. There to be enjoyed. Let's see. The Ommegaung, I believe, has some chocolate malts in it and whatnot. The Three Philosophers. So that might be adding a little bit of sweetness as well to the mix. But Really good fragrance. This is a winner for me. I think at first, when I first got it out of the mailbox and I first took a whiff of it, I was kind of unsure. I thought the scent strength was kind of mellow. But now that it's had time to acclimate to my shaving den and all that, it's bold and banging, and it smells great. So I'm going to be using this Dovo Solingen. It comes in this little nice blue case here. Has this little foam insert on the top and bottom. Has some instructions up there. This is actually my my buddy's razor here. So I'll show you that. This is actually my buddy's razor, the one that lives kind of close to me. He let me borrow Fireside Chat and that Badass Kamasuri a while back. And he picked up this recently. This is one of his more recent additions. You can see on the side there it says, well, maybe you could see. It says 6/8 on the top. It says Dovo number 3 6/8. I'm guessing it's about a half hollow. I could be wrong. I'm not an expert on these things. But he brought it over the other day and told me to give it a go. So that's exactly what we're going to do. He has had a few shaves with it, I believe. He said the edge felt nice. He told me that didn't get as close in one particular area on his neck that he would have liked, but he also said that might have been his own doing and not the edge. So good on him to acknowledge that some of it could have been his own errors. One lesson that I think he had to learn the hard way. He brought it over to me, and as soon as I opened it, I started checking it out, inspecting it, and I told him, I was like, bro, did you dry this off before you put it away? And he was like, yeah, I always dry it off before I put it away. You can see there, definitely cutting. And I go, well, there's a little watermark or rust right here above my fingernail. I was like, there's that. I was like, you obviously left some water somewhere. And he was like, well, I took the towel down, down the length of the blade and the tail. And I was like, well, do you ever clean between the scales? Because, if there's water in the scales, doesn't matter if you dry the blade off, some of that water could get onto the blade when you close it and put it away, And so he told me no, and he said it's never happened on his other straights, but it's definitely something that he's going to have to pay a little bit more attention to in the future, because that is something you don't want. You don't want your razor getting any sort of rust like that, especially on the blade. I know in this instance, it was just on the tang there, but you especially don't want it getting around the blade or the pins. Want to keep all that stuff clean to the best of your ability anyways. Alright, that was a pretty smooth first pass. So, this did not have an edge put on it. I forgot where he said he bought it from. I think maybe he bought it direct from Dovo. Because it came international. Which I told him he probably could have picked something like this up at Maggard's or the Razor Company or, Griffith or the Straight Razor Straight Razor Place or any of those retailers, like Stateside, you know. But you live and you learn. It got here after a long time. So it just has a factory edge on it. Now, to me, I don't get any semblance of that scary, sharp, toothy feel. To me, it's very smooth, non-threatening, and that's okay. Like, as long as it's cutting hair, smooth and non-threatening is fine with me. You know what I mean? Now, if it becomes to the point where it feels dull and tuggy, you know, then we have a problem, and we need to send it out to get it honed properly. But just because it doesn't feel scary sharp doesn't mean it's not getting the job done. And it can feel smooth as a butter knife. As long as it's cutting hair, that's all that matters to me. Now, people might have their preferences, whereas, you know, they might actually enjoy the blade feel. It might add a little bit to the experience of the shave that people find pleasurable. But for me, as long as it's cutting, I'm okay. You know, I'm good. I like it when it's scary sharp. I like it when it's super smooth. It doesn't, you know, and everything in between. So I'm not one to complain about that sort of thing. I'm fine with it either way. Let's get this against the grain going. To me, it has a very nice kind of heft to it. It sits well in my hand. I think there's plenty of tang to hold on to. I love the spine work aesthetically. It's a very beautiful blade. Typically, I'm not a fan of having writing or any type of printing, etching on the face of the blade. That's not my jam. But this is not my razor. And I know that a lot of companies, and for whatever reasons, straight razor makers in general, like putting shit on the face of the blade. Why in the world that's a thing is beyond me. I'm perfectly fine, you know, with putting your little tag or maker's mark on the tang somewhere. That seems, you know, perfectly appropriate. A lot of people, you know, they'll put their information, you know, their maker's mark right there on the tang. No problem with that whatsoever. But why on the face of the blade? Why? For what? I just don't get it. I guess it's not a deal breaker, I suppose. Well, maybe for me it is. I'm not a fan of that shit. My Weight & Butcher has the word elite on the face. And it's not so bad. But I would much rather it just be blank. I'm sure it doesn't bother other people at all, but to me it's just like, it feels kind of tacky and cheesy to put something on the open face like that. It's just unnecessary. My favorite razor, the Whacker Solingen. I think is pretty comparable in the dimensions to this one. I'd have to take it down and look, but I think it's pretty comparable to the dimensions on this one. This is 6/8. I'm assuming it's about half hollow. I'm sure some of my straight razor experts will help me out in the comments. I'll give you another peek. To me, it looks like it starts becoming a hollow blade about halfway through, and that's kind of how I think of it, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I know plenty of times people have sent me charts and pictures and reference materials, but for whatever reason it just hasn't stuck yet. Probably because I haven't took it to heart. I just kind of like, yeah, thanks for the thanks for the material, because I just shave with it. I'm not really getting into the like nerdiness of it. I just kind of like, I buy the razor, I shave with the razor, and that's it, you know. But I think it has similar dimensions to my whacker, and that's probably why it was so enjoyable. It felt really smooth. It felt good in the hand. So I think my buddy has a real winner there. I don't know how long that edge is gonna last out of the factory before he has to send it out, but I'm sure he's used Frank before in the past, and I'm sure he'll go back to Frank when it's time. It's Frank from Strike Shave. What in the fuck am I doing? I almost put this peasant towel on my face. That would have been a huge mistake. I don't think the comments would have let me live that down. Let me grab a real towel. The Lancaster. Oh my goodness. That could have been disastrous. Let me just take a drink to calm the nerves after that. Okay. That's better. Yeah, that could have been bad. Well, looks like it gave me a very smooth shave. We'll give a little feel around here after I wipe this lather off, and then we'll get into some aftershave splash. I didn't pick up the matching aftershave product to Brew because Barrister Mann isn't doing aftershave splashes right now. They're only doing aftershave balms, and I have tried their aftershave balm, and it's a nice lightweight balm. Excuse me. But I'm a splash guy. I definitely prefer having an aftershave splash rather than an aftershave balm, although there's nothing at all wrong with aftershave balms. It's just a preference thing. I've used plenty of aftershave balms, and I have plenty in my collection, but I just prefer aftershave splashes. And so in this case, I left the aftershave product out. Not a big deal. What we are going to be using is Storybook Soapworks coffee spoons. This is one of the ones that I think was given to me, or I won it on a giveaway. I think I won it on a giveaway from J.R. Reyes from Reyes Restores on Instagram. Does great restoration work and sets knots in brushes, and I'm sure whatever other endeavors he has his hands in, he's probably really good at that too. He's an awesome guy, very supportive of the community. And this giveaway, I think it was a bunch of different coffee scented soaps that he was giving away, and I won it a while back. Let's do another little round. This also has kind of like a black coffee vibe, but minus the sweetness that Brew has. It's just kind of like more or less a black coffee vibe. It's kind of a casual experience, but it is enjoyable if you're a coffee lover. And even my fragrance for the day was from the replica line, Mesa Margiela's Coffee Break. And that was my fragrance for the day. So we were all coffeeed out today. And it was a good one. So, cheers, guys. I hope you enjoyed this shave. Thanks, Jason, for letting me borrow the razor. Thanks, Reyes, for the coffee aftershave splash and that giveaway. And I hope you guys had a good weekend. I sure did. I needed a fucking couple days off. Thank you for all the support. Love you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.